Welcome back. I'm Kim Bailey. She's Fulyana Osborne, and this is Inside Exec. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different outside of the general management principles that we might discuss. This one is about wanting to quit your job, but not sure about whether it's the right thing for you to do. Now, in the past 12 months, as we record this, we're early in 2021. So lots of people during 2020 were faced with either enforced or unenforced review of their employment status, and the opportunities to do other things were presented or became important for them to look at and to consider. Within that framework, let us talk about quitting your job and being sure or not sure whether it's the right thing for you to do. If I look back on my experience, I worked in the corporate world for a long time, and I made a decision at a certain point, and I made the decision that was when I was going to leave corporate employment sometime before. It was a time-related thing, so I said to myself, I will give this part of my career 10 years, and in 10 years I will have gained this sort of experience, done these sorts of things, got these sorts of skills, so that at the end of that 10 years, I can offer that as a service to others, because I was far more comfortable working on my own or working for organisations rather than in organisations. And I think now, with the years that have passed, I like to say that I'm unemployable, that it would really be difficult for me to work for anyone else. As hard as it can be for me to work for myself sometimes, and certainly as hard as it can be for me to work for herself.
I disagree with the word unemployable, but anyway, I see where you're trying to go.
In a sense, that's the guide for me, is that would I be happy, or would an organisation be able to afford me as an employee? And I think that that's not the case. As an employee, certainly as a consultant, there's all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
As an employee, no.
Yeah, okay.
And if that's the case, then I need to make sure that I am as worthwhile to an organisation when I'm not an employee, when I'm someone that they bring in as an external person. And so that makes me achieve more. And this is what works for me. It makes me achieve more. It makes me want to learn more. It keeps my skills up. It does all of the things that you would want to see in anyone that you were engaging for work for your organisation. So whether it's an employee or whether it's not. I know that's not the case for others. It is not an easy decision to make. It comes with a whole host of other things around your financial stability, family commitments, all the other external factors that help us make decisions. It's about safety. It's about where you see yourself. It is a time where you really have to sit back and look at what are your long-term goals, how are you going to get there, how long is it going to take, what are the contributing factors to all of that, what will happen if something out of my control happens. So let's put ourselves back 12 months' time. A whole host of people around the world were probably thinking at the beginning of 2020, oh, it's time for me to go out on my own. I'll be a consultant. I'll do all these good things. I'll run an online business, whatever it was that they were thinking at the time. And an external influence over which they had no control and over which we had no inkling of how long it would last, how widespread it would be, and how much it would change their habits and the lifestyle that we had previously. You need to understand that might happen, and how adaptable would you be in that situation. So that if you had decided 12 months ago that you were going to open a coffee shop, that was your grand plan. You'd saved for all this time. This, I'm going to open a coffee shop. And you would be devastated now, because an external influence meant that you couldn't do that. But if you had the mindset that said, all right, I can't do it in that format, but I can do it a different way, then you would still have had the opportunity. So the decision would still be justified. But it's making that decision knowing that there might be influences over which you have no control, that you will have to be adaptable enough. So if you're the sort of person who likes structure and safety and predicted outcomes, then it's never going to be the right time for you to leave a job. You need to stay. You need to find a job that gives you all of that, that you're happy doing, that you can contribute to, that you can grow to a certain extent. But if you're not prepared to have a bit of the unknown around you, then it's never going to be the right time to leave a job, unless you're going to another job. I will say that.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, if you're already thinking, I want to leave my job, but I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing, there is a big doubt there already. So in that sense, you've got to really figure out, what do you want and why you're having those feelings. Are the feelings because you don't like the job? Have they been there all that time? Is there something new happened, this change in the environment that we just talked about? Is that triggered something that thought, I've always wanted to do X, and now this is the best opportunity because of this change upon us? Is it something that I really gave it a good go? I tried this for whatever years, and now I think my heart is somewhere else. Until you figure out why you thinking even about changing that job, that's one bit to get you to start thinking. The other bit is to identify what's the reason, and the third bit is, what is it you want? Of course, with all of that goes the practical things like, can I afford to, you've got to do the sums and lifestyle and all of that. But you shouldn't ignore those feelings, but you should work them through. As you work them through, you might find that some of it were just a feeling, but when you went through all of that, actually, this job is all right and you like it. and it's giving you 90% of what you're looking for in a job. But you might find that there is certain things about it that needs massaging. You need only to make some changes to make this job, and I don't mean the job exactly where you are in the company in, but if you like the career path, if you like the nature of the work you're doing. I had one recently which was in a teaching profession, and the person is always felt that is his vocation, but he also felt that it's not enough because he was more into the one-on-one educator. And with COVID, I think that came as a plus because he worked it through that it's not teaching I'm against, it's not the organisation or the school I'm against. I'm happy with all of them, but there's something else, and that is being able to feel that he gave one-on-one. But to do that and make a living, you need lots of one-on-ones. So how do you do that? And of course, nowadays, there's a lot more educational platforms. And the education platforms are more about teaching, doing a degree online. You have a tutor who will look after you online. They've been going and now more strengthened by that. When I'm talking about not necessarily school age, that you can help school age, but you can help university and mature age and all of that. So by going through it, figured out that the financial could work. It figured out that the time is even better for the lifestyle. Figured out the most important and most fundamental thing for that person was the satisfaction of actually feeling the one-on-one. I helped, I saw the result. I helped, I saw the progress. I helped and I saw the person taking a different path because that wasn't the right fit for them in the learning phase. It's that identification. Whatever you do, if you're feeling that way, do not rush to action. This is not one that you can just go, oh, look, I've been feeling like that for 12 months. I really should quit. No, that doesn't work that way because you're still no wiser now than you were 12 months ago or 12 months in the future. And you could go and repeat the same mistake and cause yourself another change that is not what you're looking for. So it's very important to be methodical. It's to have someone to think aloud with about it, that sometimes you honestly don't know. This person, it took a while and many, many conversations before that, when the penny dropped. Couldn't figure out what is it that I like, but then I'm feeling that way. Why? And even did scenarios. What if you went to higher education, university? What if you went to do that? What if you did this? What if you were an educator in a workspace? Were you in the training and development? What if you were specific to your area of expertise in a company, software training or whatever it is? And in that sense, until it went to the finally figuring out the one-on-one and the satisfaction of that, it then took the person to where now they feel they're in the right place.
I think in all of that, my one caution, and it's my personal view, I will preface it by saying, is that don't have a plan B. Because if you make a decision and you have, this is what I'll do in case this doesn't happen, then you're already setting yourself up for failure. Because you're saying, well, I won't commit myself to this wholeheartedly because I've got this thing to fall back on. And so you're wasting your resources by not focusing on the decision that you think you've made to start with.
Yes, I agree.
No plan B.
No plan B, because if you've done your homework right, you're going to give this everything you've got and it will be a success.
And if it's not, you go on to the next thing. But you don't decide on the next thing until you know that it's definitely not working, because there's all sorts of, as with the coffee shop example, there's all sorts of ways that you can adjust what was the original plan before you get to a point where you know that it's not working for you personally or financially or in any other way.
Well, that coffee shop example is really good, because if your initial plan was a coffee shop in the city, maybe the variation to that could be in a suburb where it's mostly happening, or it could be coffee delivery, or it could be a cart or whatever. So variation on the theme,
I think we've probably covered that sufficiently for you to be able to think about your decision about quitting your job or moving on to something else. So we'll leave it there for now. I'm Kim Bailey. She's Fulyana Osborne. This is Inside Exec.